Okay, today we're going to be making spaghetti bolognese. Okay, so far I've got water in my saucepan, maybe fill it halfway or just above the halfway mark, and leave that on a medium heat to boil. Remember, we need to allow it to boil before adding our pasta or spaghetti. I'm going to add maybe a teaspoon of salt. Okay, I need to add some oil, and that's just to ensure that the spaghetti does not stick. So maybe a tablespoon of oil. And my water is boiling, okay, because I turned the flame on before. And I'm just going to add not too much. I'm just going to use maybe roughly that amount. When you're working next week, you can add slightly more, okay, because you're going to be working in groups of 3s. You have 2 ways of doing it. I choose to break my spaghetti, or break in half, or you can just insert it into the boiling water, and then as soon as this end softens, then the rest will work its way down. Just mix it, work its way down. But I prefer to break it in half. Okay. Add that. Give it a quick swirl, and I'm just going to leave that to cook for about 12 to 15 minutes. Okay. Just going to reduce the flame, and I'll leave it to cook for 12 to 15 minutes. Okay, while that is cooking, I'm just going to be making my bolognese. Okay, so I heat my pan, medium heat. While it's heating up, I'm going to add a bit of oil. I'm not going to add too much oil, and I'll explain why. It's not a lot, and I'll show you exactly what I've added to it. Not even a full tablespoon, so a small amount of oil. Okay, and the reason for adding that small amount is if you're using beef mince or lamb, tend to produce a bit of oil. Okay, quite a bit. If you're not using the lean mince, even produce more oil. Okay, so I've got a bit of lean mince here. Well, quite a lot. I use the whole packet, so it's quite a lot. This is 500 grams. You can go for the smaller packet, 400 grams, or if you want to stick to the same amount because you're going to share it between the 3 of you. Okay, so my pan is heating. I'm not waiting for it to burn or smoke. Then I'm going to start off with some chopped onions, and I've got garlic in there as well. Okay, both garlic and my onions. I've already chopped those because I don't need to show you how to do that. You've already learned how to do that, and through experience that's nothing new for you. So add that to the heated pan. And I'm just allowing the flavors to go into the small bit of oil before adding my mince. As I said before, I'm using beef mince. It's up to you if you want to use lamb, even chicken if you want to, okay? Or even go for a vegetarian option, which is your corn mince, okay? So that would be your vegetarian option. So it's your personal preference within your group. Okay. I'm not going to wait for my onions to go brown. About 1 to 2 minutes there. Then I'm going to add my minced meat. You can hardly see any oil going there. Okay. So no extra oil. And I'm going to go and add my mince. It's up to you if you want to marinate your mince from home, but it's not necessary. Okay, it's not big cuts of meat, so while you're cooking you can add your salt, pepper, whatever seasoning you choose. I'm aiming for my mince to go a bit brown. should change color before I start adding the rest of my ingredients, or while it's cooking I can start adding my seasoning. I'm going to add quite a bit of salt, maybe a teaspoon of salt. Black pepper, or if you've got white pepper, you can choose to bring white pepper if you want to. I'm going to go for a bit of chili for flavor. A bit of mixed herbs, dried mixed herbs. You can add fresh herbs as well if you want to. What am I forgetting? So that's it for now. I've got another ingredient that I need to add, but not right. What is it called? Stock cube. Okay, and that's going to add additional flavor to your mince or to your bolognese. One ingredient that I haven't got any of at this moment, at this time, okay, which you can add, is a bit of sweet pepper or bell pepper. I haven't got any in school, so that's something that you could consider adding. Okay. At this point I've got some carrots done. Okay, so I'm improvising. I want to add quite a bit of veg, so I'm improvising. I've got some carrots. I'm going to add those to it as well. Again, completely optional. But whenever you're making a savor product or a main meal, try to incorporate as much vegetables as you can, okay, to make it balanced. Another veg that you could add would be celery, mushrooms, if you like mushrooms. So it's totally up to you. So within your group, when you're planning, think of different vegetables that you'll be able to add to your product or to your dish. Increase the temperature slightly. People that are sitting closer and can see in the pan, you would have noticed that the minced meat, the color has changed. Okay, and that is what I'm aiming to get before adding any liquid, any form of liquid to that. So you'll see a bit of pink bits there. I'm gonna wait to change color. Giving my pasta a quick swirl. Make sure that it's not overcooking. It's not overcooked. Okay. Alright, I'm happy to add the rest of my ingredients now. Okay. So I've got my oxo cube, or what you say called stock cube. Adds a bit more flavor to the dish. Just gonna crumble that in. Thanks. The pan is slightly too small. So my oxo cube for flavor, I'm gonna add a teaspoon of flour. Got slightly more than a teaspoon of flour, and this is only used added to the product to help with the sauce, consistency of the sauce. That should be enough. Mix that in. If you're using a Bolognese sauce, this is not actually a Bolognese sauce, just tomato, spicy or chili tomato sauce. You all know your Bolognese sauce, ready-made one in the shop, sold maybe for £1 or less for the cheaper version, but they taste equally as nice. If you're using the jar sauce, you do not have to use any flour, add any flour. Okay, but because I'm going to go back to basic, I've got that, but I tend to use some chopped tomatoes. That's only what, 23p? Yeah, roughly, or some supermarket will sell them for maybe about 17p, very cheap. So instead of going for a jar, what you call a standard component, that is more expensive, you could just use a tin tomato and then make your own sauce. So I've got some chopped tomatoes here. Because I'm going to add a small bit of that because I had it in the fridge, I'm going to go for half of my chopped tomato. So add that. Won't go for the whole tin. And then I'm going to add a bit of my chili tomato sauce as well. So again, you can go and add, you may choose to bring or buy a Bolognese sauce and just add it. If you're doing that, then you do not need to add any flour to your Bolognese. Am I happy with that? Not quite. Just need to add another ingredient which I've got here. So I've got a tiny bit of sugar. Maybe people will be wondering, okay, why are you adding sugar to a savory product, to a main meal? Your face is saying that, asking that question, knitting your brow, why are you adding? Okay, this is just to balance out the taste of the tangy tomato that I've used. Okay, so I'm just using 1 teaspoon of sugar to balance out the taste, to prevent your Bolognese from being too tangy. Okay. Right, let me just check on my, how do we know when our spaghetti is cooked? Anyone tell me? When it changes, it's not going to change a certain color, not necessarily. Anyone else? When it
isn't acid.
Okay, but how do we know that? Just by looking at it?
When it's like flexible.
Flexible? Okay. So I can easily maybe break it, press it like that. You see it breaks easily. Another way is throwing it on the wall, but not in my room, not in the food room. When you're at home, you can try that one. But that's another way. If it sticks to the wall, then it's done. Or just tasting it. Get a fork, take one out, taste it. Some people will like it a bit chewy. Okay, have a bit of bite. That is what you call, refer to as al dente. I do not like my pasta like that, so quite a bit soft. Okay, I don't like my pasta too chewy. Right, that's done. So I'm going to turn this one off. Okay, and I'm going to drain my pasta using my colander. But before I drain it, I need to get a bit of the water. I'm going to keep a bit of the water for my Bolognese. Okay. I just collect it in the pan after, before all of it goes through, like that. Okay. And I'm just going to rest it here. I have to wash the draining part after. But I need a bit of my water in this pan. Okay, the Bolognese. Why am I adding that? Anyone knows? Why am I adding this water to? Yeah?
More one. More one.
Yeah, but why wouldn't I choose to go and add the water from the top?
It's cold.
It's cold? Not necessarily. I could go for the hot one. So the reason, yes, miss?
The pasta releases starch, so the water has starch in it.
The water has a bit of starch in it to help with the consistency of the sauce again, and it has a bit of flavor from the bit of salt that's in there. So I'll just add a bit. And then I'm just going to leave this to simmer for maybe about 15 minutes until everything is fully cooked. Okay. Right, finish draining this again. And I'm just going to leave my... And there, that's done. Okay, so we leave this to cook for about 15 minutes. During this time, you can always taste to see whether or not you need to add a bit of salt or a bit more pepper or season to taste. Okay? Yeah, thank you. Let me see one. Oh, you turned it off already. I
Leave
wanted to show the finished product, but never mind.
I can take a picture of it.
Yeah.